Right, so in this reply speech, I'm really going to be condensing this entire debate down into three themes: that of the economy, that of social influence, and that of the fall of the West. So let's really talk about, firstly, that of the economy. And what we told you today was that there's been a consistently slowing growth rate economically in China. And we think that when you have a slowing growth rate, that China's economic strength is not sustainable and it won't sustain itself until the end of this century. What we also told you is that 44% of its GDP is based upon manufacturing, and it's really dependent upon this industry of cheap labor. What we told you further was that when you have a decrease in population, where within 90 years you're decreasing your population by literally 30%, that you're going to be having a lower capability in manufacturing, you're going to have a smaller consumer base, and therefore you're going to have much less interest from corporations, from foreign direct investment to actually invest in China. We think that this is extremely detrimental to China's economic sustainability. So we really think that by that basis, the first pillar already falls. But what we told you furthermore was that, yes, China's going to be number one in the year 2018, but by the year 2020, India's going to be number one. And literally, that's really just the prediction. And anyhow, that's what really they based their entire first pillar on, was that of a prediction of the year 2018. They failed to mention the year 2020. And what we also told you in the third pillar today was that of economic multipolarity, where China is completely dependent upon foreign direct investment, where China is dependent upon other countries. And when you have a 26% decrease of foreign direct investment from the United States, you're obviously not going to be able to sustain your economic growth for the rest of the century. So really, the first pillar falls. Now, the second idea of influence. And what we told you today was that with decreasing economic strength, China's going to have less political power. And that's really the only link that side proposition came up to you today and told you. That with greater economic power, you're going to have greater economic political strength. What we told you is that with decreasing economic strength, you're going to have decreasing political power, and since we proved that there is going to be indeed a decrease in economic strength, China's political strength is most certainly not sustainable. So on that front, their second pillar falls. But furthermore, what we told you was that China can't actually set the global agenda because the international community won't let China set the global agenda. Because when you abuse human rights, when you don't respect the rights of your own people, you're definitely not going to be setting the agenda for the people of the entire world. What we told you furthermore was with multipolarity, China has no greater power than any other 5 countries in the Security Council with veto power. They don't have any more power than any of 192 countries in the United Nations General Assembly. So we really don't think China has enough strength politically. So now let's talk about this third idea, that of the fall of the West. Now, really, when they came up to you, when the side proposition came up to you today and told you that the West will fall, they were basing it upon an assertion, an assumption. What we told you was that China can't actually let the USA fall, because China holds $1 trillion in the United States debt. And if you let the USA fall, China's going to fall. So obviously China is not going to allow the USA to fall, because they're going to continue to allow the United States to invest in China. They're going to continue to be strong trading partners with China, but they're not going to let China fall behind them, because without the United States of America, China can't have enough foreign direct investment to have sustainable economic growth. So we really think that on that front, their third pillar falls as well. So what have we told you today? Well, firstly, we told you that China doesn't have the ability to set the global agenda, and therefore they don't have the political strength necessary to own the century. What we told you furthermore was that economically, China's socially unstable and economically unstable, because they don't have a growing population that can sustain its large manufacturing industry, and with that declining industry, they're not going to have continued economic strength and continued economic growth that is really necessary for them to become the world number one. And what we told you lastly was that of multipolarity, basically. That when you have so many countries that are dispersed, that are so interdependent, that no one country can really step up above the others. That China can't step up above countries like the United States of America, France, Germany, the United Kingdom. So thank you. We beg to oppose.